Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Wetlands deck. So I used to have a Frog deck that used Wetlands, and so when I wanted to remake this deck I decided that it would be a lot stronger if I just combined it and made it a full Wetlands deck, because Frogs on their own with Wetlands kind of struggle a bit in certain situations. So the idea behind the deck is pretty simple. You just use a bunch of cards that utilize Wetlands to overpower your opponent, do a lot of direct attacking, and kind of lock down your opponent at the same time. So first off, Dewdark of the Ice Barrier, he can attack directly, which is amazing. So along with those attack boosts, he can start really doing big damage really quickly. Then we have Cryomancer of the Ice Barrier. I think the strongest monster just with Wetlands gets up to 2500 attack, and then along with the Ice Barriers, it'll help lock down. Prior of the Ice Barrier, very nice because it can special summon with the other ice barriers, and then it can get out the other ice barriers from the graveyard. So really nice card, and again, nice boost with Wetlands. Penguin Soldier, very nice card in this deck. Obviously bouncing cards is really good these days when you're going up against certain synchros and XYZs and stuff. But also if you don't need a bounce or after you bounce, you still have access to a 2000 beater with all these effects. So it's very nice. Unifrog being able to attack directly is nice. Its other effect doesn't come off that often in this deck because you're not running a lot of frogs, which is kind of unfortunate. Swap Frog, very nice in this deck. Again, gets some nice boosts, but it's also good for filling your graveyard, and then you can kind of use the ice barriers along with that, so it's nice in general, and also if you need to get a card dumped for Solidarity is very good. And then Testudo, Erat, Numen. So this card just locking down your opponent, keeping them from special summoning most things, because 1800 or more attack is a lot of special summons. And obviously with the other cards, it can actually become a decent beater on top of it. And then 3 Wetlands, running a lot of the field card because it's necessary in this deck. Without it, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Medallion of the Ice Barrier. You're running a low monster count in this deck, so this helps search out Solidarity. I'm running triple of this. Very important, along with the other boosts, to get some of these cards over 3000, which is really nice. Pot of Duality, not much special summoning in this deck, so it's very useful. Terraforming, again, running 2 of this can be, a bit much, so that's 5 different field cards, kind of 5 chances to get it, but it's really up to you if you want to run 2 like I am. Even with this many Wetlands, I still worry about not getting it. And then we have Salvage, obviously, to get from the graveyard, very nice with the low monster count. Surface to special summon from the graveyard, very nice with the other ice barriers. 1 MST, 1 Dark Hole. Running 1 MST, up to you whether you want to run this at all. I find it to be very useful to have it in case of certain cards. You can also side this if you want. And then for the traps, Aegis of the Ocean Dragon Lord, just really good in this deck to defend your monsters. Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, very nice for going up against special summoned higher level monsters. And you won't have to obviously deal with anything like that because you're running all these level 2s. And then just staple traps, not much to say there. So for the extra deck, again, not much to say. You really shouldn't summon from the extra deck at all. So I just throw in, a bunch of level 2 XYZs and a bunch of synchros. You have access to like 4, 6, 8, things like that. And also, because you have Testudo, you have access to some others, but it's just not worth it. There's like barely any Aqua, synchros. You're going to mess with Solidarity. It's not how your deck works, but it's still good to have certain ones, situationally. For the side deck, again, side decks in my videos are just recommended cards, that not necessarily a side deck for matches. So they're just cards that you might want to think about when you're building your own Wetlands deck. So Wind Up Snail, an interesting card. Not a huge fan of it, but can be interesting, especially to set up OTKs. Flip Flop Frog, also an alternative to Penguin Soldier. Flip Flop Frog can turn itself back into defense, and it can also flip more monsters based on having frogs. Still, I prefer Penguin Soldier. Submarine Frog, a decent beater that can do piercing battle damage, which can be really nice. Ronin Totem, obviously, to special summon can be very useful. Also combos really well with Swap Frog. Starboy, really good actually. When you start swarming, you could start. This is kind of like a United We Stand for all the monsters you have out there, because they're all going to be water monsters, so very nice. Also very annoying if you're going up against a fire deck. Mother Grizzly can search out pretty much all these cards. Dupe Frog, again a nice frog card you can use to search out what you need. There's a few other ice barrier cards, and this is just one of the ones I picked out. Secret Guards can help you go against certain effects, which can be very nice. And also, obviously, with the boost, you don't have to worry about having it in attack position. So there's a lot of stall cards you can use. Swords Revealing Light, stuff like that can be very helpful when you're going for all these direct attacks and you want to go around your opponent's monsters and not worry about them. Field Barrier, an option to protect your wetlands because it's very important. Prohibition, if you're really worried about like MST, you're running a lot of continuous cards, field cards and Solidarity. So it could be nice to use this to keep MST from activating, but obviously I'm running MST, so up to you. 1-for-1 can be good for some of the cards you might use, also very good for Testudo if you want to get it out. Moray of Greed, good for draw power, but I'm running a low monster count anyway, so not currently what I'm running. Infernal Reckless Summon, really good for doing Dewdark OTK, which can be very nice. And Gravity Bind, cards like that, Level Limit, can also be very useful, but with all the XYZ prevalence nowadays, it just isn't as good as it used to be, but still an option. But, that's my Wetlands deck. Pretty simple. Just bring out these powerful, these weak monsters, but they become more powerful, and you can do some lockdown too. And it's kind of fun to play. But if you guys have your own Wetlands deck, you could post below. Let me know in the comments. Talk about what cards you use. Maybe I didn't mention one of them. That could be very helpful for this deck. If you like this video, you can subscribe or hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. You get to see all my stuff, firsthand. If you want to see more decks from me, you can check the playlists that are in the description. One of them has a list of all the decks I've made so far. Another one has a list of all the decks that I've made for this current ban list. You can also see my contact info in there if you want to talk to me, tweet me, follow me on Twitter, duel me, all that kind of stuff. You can see all my contacts right down there. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.